Alright, so we're down to our second lab of the course, and in this lab we're going to configure a basic frame relay network. Now I've built out a very basic frame relay. It's a hub and spoke frame relay network here. And this topology in this configuration is available as one of the work files for this course. And in this topology, I have the frame switch configured, and I have both the west and the east routers configured. And on the central router, we're going to set up the frame relay connection on the central router and show you some of the different keywords and the different commands you have to use to set up a frame relay connection. And we're only going to do it on central because the commands are pretty much the same on west and east. And once we're done with that, we can verify that we can see those routers across the frame relay network. So the first thing we'll do is we'll start up all of our routers. Like so. That, start the frame switch, and start the central router. And open up the console to this guy right here. Move that over where we can see it. And we'll wait until we get to the prompt here. And there we are at the enable prompt. I cleared off all of the startup configs, or the startup screens, just so there's not a lot of garbage here. First thing we'll do is we'll look at the configuration for the serial 00 interface. And if we look out here in our GNS3 configuration, we see that serial 00 is the one that's connected to the frame relay switch that I'm emulating here in the middle with this other 3600 router. So we'll do show run interface serial 00. And we see that there's no configuration whatsoever on this serial interface. So let's start down the path to configure it. Go into config mode and interface serial 00. And now we'll step through the commands to set it up. Now the first thing we need to do is look out here at our wide area network. And this is a multi-point network, since that's what we're talking about in this particular section of the course, meaning that all of these routers have their IP addresses in the same network. This 192.168.22.0/29 network. This router's IP ends in .2, this one ends in .3, this central will be .1. And these are our DELCs. 103 goes to 301, 102 goes to 201. And in order to get from east to west, you have to go through the central. That's just how I've got the routing set up. So the first thing we'll do is we'll configure an IP address on this interface. In this case, IP address 192.168.22.1 with the /29 subnet mask, which is 248. Hopefully at this point you've gotten to where you can configure that. So the next thing we have to do is set up the encapsulation. So if we type encap and hit question mark, we see we have a few encapsulations we can use across this serial link. ATM, HDLC, PPP. We are more interested in frame relay, and this is because it is a frame relay network. If we set the encapsulation wrong, the serial interface just won't come up. So we'll do encapsulation frame relay, and we'll see what options are available to us. In this case, we only have the one encapsulation type for frame relay, which is the IETF. So we'll encap frame relay IETF. We're also going to turn off inverse ARP. What inverse ARP does is it allows you to auto-discover the entire frame relay network. Most frame relay providers, if you're setting up a traditional frame relay network, will not let you do inverse ARP, just simply because you may discover information about neighbors that you don't really need to be neighbors with. In any case, their frame relay switch is not going to provide you the inverse ARP information you need, so let's just go ahead and turn it off on our router, and that way we won't even ask. So we'll do no frame relay inverse ARP. Now since we're not doing inverse ARP, we have to set up a frame relay map manually. And when we set up a frame relay map, we are basically telling our frame relay router, if you want to get to the IP address 192.168.22.2, you go out DELC 102. If you want to get to 22.3, you go out DELC 103 here locally. We'll also be using a broadcast keyword that tells our router to forward broadcasts to these devices on the other end. And I know you may be thinking, well, this is supposed to be a non-broadcast multi-access. And basically what this router does is it takes the broadcasts that are supposed to go out this interface and makes a unicast out of them and unicasts it to the IP address that's on the other end of the map. So we'll enter both of these commands. We'll do frame relay map, Hit question mark. We can do bridging IP or LLC. In this case, we're doing an IP address. You have to enter the IP address 192.168.22.2, and that is across Del C 102. So we hit question mark here. We're asked for the Del C. In this case, it's 102. We'll hit enter. And actually, we left a keyword off on that. We need to broadcast on that. Let's hit the question mark after this. You have lots of options. In this case, we're going to tell it broadcast should be forwarded to the address, that top option that you see there. So we'll hit broadcast and hit enter. We'll hit up arrow since the only thing we're going to be changing is the Del C and the destination IP address, like so. We'll finish configuring our frame relay network in the next video.